What's up, guys? It's your girl Rivah, and I'm back again with another video. If you're new to this channel, hi, my name is Rivah. It's very nice to meet you. Before we get into this video, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up. And as I always say, make sure you guys leave your comments in the comment section down below. It does not matter how you feel about this video. We all want to talk about it. Also, if you're not following me on Instagram, follow my Instagram. It's at RIVAH_JORDON, and we're going to go ahead and get right into the video.
My channel. If you're new here, my name is Rebecca, and today I'm going to talk about the lies of modern feminism.
Just going to go right into that.
So, one of the most common things that I hear from women, and this is probably the first myth that I've heard or that I've also preached myself before I was transformed. I used to say, I don't need a man, I want a man. Now, the problem with this statement is the fact that biologically speaking, men and women need each other to procreate. That is something that is biologically innate in us. It's not something that we can change. It's not something that we can modify. In order to keep civilization going, in order to keep us progressing and moving forward, we need to procreate, and only a man and a woman can do that. I don't believe in full-blown equality of the sexes. Yes, we are equal in value, but we are very different biologically, and we are very different when it comes to how we think and how we act. There's actually a post from the femininity doctor, and I will put it right here on the screen for you guys to see. But it says, yes, you can do life without a man, but why would you want to? Why are we being told to set our preferences to not want men when men and women were quite literally made to need and rely on each other? Believe me, dears, you don't get a trophy for dying alone. And I think that is probably the best depiction of what is happening today. Women are deciding to just be alone.
That's a word right there. You don't get a trophy for dying alone. So, because we have so many women who walk around, I don't need no man. I could do this. I could do bad all by myself. I'm good all by myself. And they walk around, holding this torch of I don't need a man. I don't need a man. First of all, why do you keep saying it over and over again? Who are you trying to prove that to? Because it sounds like you're trying to prove that to yourself. And number two, exactly, it's not like you're winning an award for not having a man or being alone. What they say, being the cat and the dog lady. It's not like you're winning an award for any of those things. You're literally just doing that, and you think that you have like this thing about you where you feel like, oh yes, like you have a prize, or you discovered something that nobody else discovered, that you don't need a man, but you do. You do. You say you don't need a man, but it's very, very evident. Your life is showing us that you do need one. And also, again, you're saying it so many times to prove it to whom? Because it sounds like if you say it one time, two times, three times, by the fifth time, is it that you do need a man?
Actually, because of modern feminism, men have actually decided to leave women alone. And what's happening is that men and women are dying alone. When we are supposed to come together, we rely on each other. That is the whole point of civilization. I don't understand where this went out the window. We need each other to continue life. All mammals do it. And we're being taught that being egalitarian is the way forward, is the progressive way. But that is not the case, because we see countries that have created equality of the sexes, and it creates even more and more differences between men and women. It just shows it blatantly in our face that men and women are different. As women, we fought for our liberation. At a certain point in our lives, in our past, we weren't equal, but we got equality. So what are we fighting for now?
And it's interesting that she says that because men are men are just no longer willing to deal with certain issues, willing to comply with the rules that women are setting out for them. And there's a very, very big difference because what men are doing is men are having relations, I'll say, with women. They have the ability to experience different women, multiple women, often, all the time, right? They're doing these things, but you know what they're not doing? They're not allowing the woman the opportunity to be in a relationship, to be a wife. They're just experiencing this woman over and over again, or different women, because they're able to, but they're not committing to them. That's the difference.
My question to you, because at this point, I don't know. So, the second myth that women have been told is that career success is the only success to strive for.
Wow.
And this to me probably is the one that resonates so deeply for me because I believe this to my core while I was a feminist. And it was something that I always strive for. My number one.
Can we just talk about the fact that she's saying that she was a feminist? Can we just talk about that for a second? Because if she is a person who was literally a feminist, she's coming on here saying that she was one and changed her mindset, is now married, and is now talking to other women like, no, don't go this way. That's the wrong way. Don't have your mindset this way. It's a trick. What does that say? That speaks volumes.
Was to be the most successful CEO, to raise the most amount of money, and to just be on top and beating out all of my male competitors.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that probably sounds great to you, but I was miserable. I was absolutely miserable. I was striving and putting my value in something that could fall apart the next day.
Wow.
And that's exactly what it did. When this global pandemic happened, I lost my business. And guess what? At least I had my fiance, because my husband was my fiance at the time, and I had my family. But so many women today are striving for career success, for education.
And I wanna speak on that point that she just made as well. So many women put all of their eggs in the basket of career, right? Oh yes, my business, my this, my that. And if something happens to you, if you get sick, if you just don't perform like you used to performing, you know what that job does? Replace you. They replace you. They find somebody else to fill the position. Like I said, and it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to get sick or something has to happen to you. But even if you're just not performing well, oh, budget cuts. We're making budget cuts. You got to go. Sorry. You lost your job. And then the same people that you had a lack of respect for, the same people that you weren't willing to, even have conversations with because, oh, my career and my degree and my this and my that are the same people that you have to go to assist you and to help you because they have your best interests at heart. Not that job.
Success, and they are going through their entire 20s putting their heads down in the sand and not focusing on anything else except their career. And the problem that happens is that when you are so focused on your career, when you are so diligent about achieving something like that, everything else gets neglected.
Yeah.
How do you expect to date? How do you expect to get yourself out there? Do you think a man is magically going to appear in your face? No, I'm not saying that women should not have careers, should not achieve educational success.
Right.
That is not what I'm saying whatsoever. But we need to keep in our minds as women, our biological clock does not last the eternity of our life. By the time we hit 35, 40, we produce less eggs, we are less fertile, and the chances of us getting pregnant at that point decreases over time. We
Yeah.
need to learn how to prioritize things that actually matter to us. So, yes, if you are in your 20s right now, you can focus on your career, but at the same time, be open to dating, be open to relationships, because in your mid 20s to your late 20s, that's your prime time to getting into relationships, to hopefully finding your life partner to have children with. And ladies, again, if children and marriage are not something that you want, then focus on your career. But understand that there are consequences to your actions. There are
Yeah.
consequences to choosing your career over anything else. And I lived that life until that life did not suit me anymore. Something in my body, something biologically happened in me that switched that for me. And
that's what happens with a lot of women as well. A lot of women say in their 20s, or they're chasing their career. I don't even want any kids. I don't want this. I'm okay. I'm going to be the rich auntie. I'm not going to have any children. I'm not going to do this. And then guess what? When it's time to actually have the children, or when they're at this space when they're like, dang, I really want children now, it's too late. They're biological, they have a hard time conceiving. They don't even have a relationship, right? They don't even have a prospect of somebody to even give them children, because remember, they were preaching that they don't need a man. So there is no man around to even give them children when their mind has changed. So now they're stuck in a situation that they can't get out of. They have to hurry up and try to focus on dating. They end up just being with anybody at that point just so they can hopefully get a child. Then they complain about the situation that the child is growing up in. And you have to have time to figure out what it is that you want. It's okay to not know what you want when you're in your early 20s. However, as she just said, you have to be open to even dating or even finding out these situations so that later on the decision isn't made for you.
Happening to a lot of women. We've been told to suppress that. We've been told that is not something that you want. Which goes into my third point: marriage and children equals bondage. Feminism loves to preach equality, loves to preach what we can accomplish as women. We can do whatever we want.
Right.
But why are we shaming women who want marriage and children? Why? If we are a open, progressive society, why can't women choose marriage and children? At a certain point in your life, at a certain point in your career, the career doesn't mean anything. Climbing that ladder doesn't mean anything anymore. It doesn't bring that same joy that it did once before. I remember that so vividly when I was like, wow, I literally could not care less if my company fails today or if I have to step away from this business. If you're a woman in your 20s and you think that you would like marriage and children, do not neglect it. Do not push it to the side. You're doing yourself a disservice in the end.
Now, this does not mean that obviously you're just going to go ahead and just have a baby because you want to have children before your biological clock, starts ticking. But at the same time, you don't have anything set up. You don't have any money in the bank. You don't have any savings because children cost money, right? So this doesn't mean go out and just have a baby to go ahead and defeat that whole situation and that whole no, like. Things do have to be planned out. Things do have to be thought out because you don't want to bring children into struggle, into stress, into disorganization. So these things do need to be assessed. So nobody is saying like go out and run and have children. However, these things do need to be a priority in your life. And it does not mean that you're bound because you have a spouse and you have children. That's actually, a fullness of life. That's one of the reasons why we're here, right? Is to procreate. So that's a part of a fullness of life, and that's fine. If there's some women who don't want that at all. There's some couples who don't want that at all. It's not something that they subscribe to, and that's completely fine. To each their own. But if it's something that you want, you can't look around also to the outside of this, city girl mindset of getting Birkin bags and doing this and taking trips and taking that, because that's what society is saying. There's nothing wrong with having a husband and having children. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing binding about that either.
Of energy and intentionality that you're putting in your career, in advancements in your education, should be the same amount of energy that you are putting towards relationships. We
Ooh.
have a career path forward. I know what my 10-year plan looks like, right? As a woman, I know what I want to accomplish, but then when it comes to relationships, we'll figure it out. The problem is that too many women are taking this path of, I'll figure it out, and not being intentional. And what happens is you get to your 30s, you get to your late 30s, and you realize, this didn't go as I planned. Oh, yeah, I didn't plan this at all. These things don't happen by chance.
Right.
You need to work towards relationships the same way, the same energy you're putting into your career, into your education. You need to put that energy into relationships.
That's a whole conversation right there. That's a whole conversational piece right there. Women definitely do that. They put all this, strength and wisdom and energy into advancing their careers, into, being a certain type of person, having a certain persona, even. And then when it comes to their home life, they really don't care. That's a whole conversational piece.
Fourth point that I want to make, and the fourth myth slash problem with feminism, is this whole sexual liberation movement. So many women have just attached themselves to this part of feminism. It doesn't matter. Sex is sex. If he can do it, why can't I do it? Feminism has taught us that we should be egalitarian and that whatever a man can do is what a woman can do. And unfortunately, baby, it's not. Your body is different. We can get pregnant. Men can't get pregnant. Women are more depressed now than we've ever been before. And that is not an accident. Society had said, you can do whatever you want. You can have sex with whoever you want. You can do whatever you want. The problem is, if you don't have any discipline, if you don't have any constraints on yourself and have actual self-awareness and responsibility of your own self, guess what? You're going to be empty. Younger and younger women are
self-control. If you are, we can talk about anybody, but we're going to talk about women, especially with this conversation that this piece that she just put in there. As a woman, you have to have self-control for so many different things. If you don't have any self-control, how can you get on anybody's accord? Especially when you're being a parent and you're teaching children. That whole being liberated, especially as a woman, because it's outside of our nature, it shows a lack of self-control. It shows a lack of restraint, and just being that type of person that just wants every single thing as a woman. I mean, you're a sponge. Somebody's entering you. Somebody's literally entering your body, entering your womb. You can't just let everybody up in there. That's causes for dysfunction, with depression, because you get so used to being filled with so many different people. When you're alone, you don't know how to be alone. You can't even be silent with yourself in that space. That's so very true, and it is taught, and it's something that I don't understand. I mean, our bodies are just completely different. A man can literally get 20 people pregnant at the same time, 50 if you wanted to, but a woman can only get pregnant once. That should say a huge deal as to why our bodies are so different and why we cannot do the same thing that men do.
It's okay to be sexual. It's okay to explore that. It's okay to just sleep with whoever you want. And no, it's not. We're not wired this way biologically. Hence, why we can only get pregnant once a year, basically. Why our bodies take longer after we give birth to then do it again. while men can literally
See?
inseminate every woman he sleeps with. Why would you want to have sex with as many men as you like? You are devaluing your currency. You are devaluing who you are.
Yep.
And we're seeing women like these porn stars that are out there that are empty shells of who they are. I watched Lana Rhodes, I believe is her name, her podcast talking about the shameful things that happened to her on set, the things that she had to do. You could see the pain in her eyes. Why do you want to suffer the same pain? You need to take personal responsibility, personal accountability for the actions that you take. We are not victims. Women are not victims. Life gets better on the other side. And I'm talking to the women who have tried it every other way. If you are perfectly content, if you have the best career, if you literally don't care if you never have children or a marriage or anything, then great, good on you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a woman who has been struggling, who has been wanting to have marriage and children, and you're suffering because of the hands of modern feminism, then please listen to what I have to say. Absorb this knowledge, share it with your friends, share it with other people, get the word out.
I think I love that she's advocating for it, you know, especially as a person. I love that she is like literally trying to, you know, to stand firm on this because it's something that is necessary. People need to hear these conversations, especially from people who were taught the same exact things. Like, we don't need a man, we don't need this, we don't, you know, we could do bad all by ourselves. We're independent. I'm gonna be a CEO. Who cares about a man? I don't need a man. We need people to stand and talk about these things. And I love her heart for it. I love her heart for the conversation because it's necessary. We have so many women on the other side of the spectrum telling you, do your own thing. You don't need a man. Sleep around. It's completely okay. And it's something that especially our young girls, need to hear. Even people who are not young, right? Even just women who are out here who think that what they're doing is completely fine, but they still have something in there tugging at their heart saying, like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Yeah, stop. Cut it out. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I genuinely want to hear it. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. And again, if you're not following me on Instagram, follow my Instagram. It's at RIVAH_JORDON. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Love you.